What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the latest news on Trump's tweets with the 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that and what I guess backlash we're getting from that so far. Yeah, thanks for joining me. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Check out my other channels, JMD Drummer, JMD Play. Check out the Discord there, one-time donations, or you can go to JMD Nation, $3 a month there if you liked. Any support that you give is much, much appreciated. So thank you very much. All right, swap over. So we had apparently Trump tweeting early this morning or something, long ass tweets about. Well, first he was tweeting about China and tariffs and everything on the but then he did another tweet talking about implementing tariffs on Canada and Mexico, 25% tariffs on all products traded between Canada and Mexico, our northern and southern borders, and he did this on the basis of immigrants coming across. Doing this to stop immigrants flooding across the borders and drugs and weapons and different things like all these different things that he's claiming is coming across the borders, and that's the reason for him doing these tariffs. And so this is created quite the controversy today, having both Trudeau from Canada giving responses and the New Mexico president as well giving a response. And it's we're looking at why must we cause so much trouble with our neighbors? Like why is this such a big deal? It's frustrating. Okay, so we have me over here. Uh, we have Mexico's president responding. She claps back at Trump over tariffs. So Mexico's recently elected president Claudia Sheinbaum, something like that, was responded forcefully to Donald Trump's plan to levy 25% tariffs on goods imported from Mexico if the nation doesn't stem the flow of undocumented immigrants and drug across the southern border. Sheinbaum's promised during a morning news conference on Tuesday that Mexico will retaliate with tax penalties of their own if the president-elect goes through with his tariff plan. President Trump, it isn't President Trump. It isn't with threats or tariffs that we resolve the migratory phenomenon or the abuse of drugs in the United States. Reading from a letter she plans to send to the soon-to-be American counterpart. What's needed to confront these great challenges is cooperation and understanding. She went on to vow that any tariffs imposed by one side would likely prompt retaliatory tariffs, leading to risk for joint enterprises. Allocating even a fraction of what the United States spends on welfare towards peace building and development would address the deeper drivers of migration. On Monday, Trump wrote on True Social. Sorry, I said Twitter. It wasn't Twitter. It was True Social. I apologize. Correction. On January 20th, as one of my first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. See, this is what's interesting. even in his first line here, he's admitting the United States is the problem with its so-called ridiculous open borders, but yet he's trying to tariff them for what we need to fix, supposedly. Okay. It's tariffs that this tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop its invasion to our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long-term simmering problem. We hereby demand that they use this power, and until such time they do, it's a time for them to pay a very big price. And what's funny is that they constantly badgered on Mexico and our southern border, and then now they're attacking Canada too. Like, I don't. That one threw me for a loop, honestly. Of course, Vance backing him up on Twitter, writing that it's important for our neighbors and friends and neighbors to not let poison into our country. If they fail to meet this basic obligation, they're going to pay up. Okay, so Shinbom on Tuesday took issue with the idea that Mexico could simply stop drug traffic while pointing out America's role in it. Listen here. 70% of the illegal weapons seized from criminals in Mexico come from your country. Talking about the United States. We do not produce these weapons, nor do we consume synthetic drugs. Tragically, it is in our country that lives are lost to the violence resulting from meeting the drug demands in yours, claiming that Mexico has seized tons of various types of drugs, 10,340 firearms, and have detained 15,640 individuals for violence related to drug trafficking. You may not be aware that Mexico has developed a comprehensive policy to assist migrants from different parts of the world who cross our territory en route to the southern border of the United States. As a result, and according to data from your country's Customs and Border Protection, talking about the United States, encounters at the Mexico-United States border has decreased by 75% between December 23 and November 24, which is true. It has decreased down to, I mean, very minimal cross encounters. Trump hinged much of his campaign on the promise of rounding up and deporting millions of undocumented migrants from the United States, repeatedly insisting violent crimes and drugs, bringing drugs across, weakening, wreaking havoc on American communities. Yeah, this is. So you have, she's throwing up, she's basically threatened that they will do to retaliatory tariffs. Trudeau calls an emergency meeting with his, has called an emergency meeting. This is with Canada, with principal premiers across Canada after the U.S. president-elect threatened 25% tariff. Trump posed on, of course, we know, yes, blah, 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 blah. The Canadian Prime Minister said on Tuesday that he would held a good conversation with Trump shortly after the social media post, working to tamp down fears of an immense economic hit to Canada. He did not say if Canada would impose retaliatory tariffs as it did during the previous round of trade hostilities in the first presidency. So, Trump tried to do this stuff in his first presidency, and Canada and Mexico both wind up having to do retaliatory stuff back to the U.S. Again, it was a whole. This is not the first time, but this is Trump's threatening even bigger tariffs this time. We talked about how the intense and effective communications between our two countries flow back and forth. We talked about some challenges that we can work on together. Given the United States, Canada, and Mexico renegotiated a trade pact in 2018 and have deeply intertwined supply chains, a levy of 25% would prove devastating to Canada's economy. The United States remains Canada's biggest trading partner with nearly 600 billion or whatever, I guess Canadians, whatever, in goods expected in the U.S. late to the U.S. last year. Canadian ministers react with measured skepticism over the key claims made by Trump on immigration and drug trafficking, while a small but growing number of migrants are using Canada as a way into the U.S. Far more people enter through the Mexico, that's yes clear. Canada's immigration minister Mark Milley likened the 23,000 interceptions by the U.S. officials at the northern border uh, significant to a significant weekend at the Mexican border, where with 1,500,000 encounters were recorded last year. That's like an extreme argument for that, but yes. When it comes to movement of fentanyl across the continent, so little enters the U.S. through its northern border that the U.S. Drug Administration (DEA) does not even mention Canada in the report from 2020, instead citing Mexico, China, and India. The amount of fentanyl that crosses the U.S.-Canadian border is basically homeopathic. Uh, Critiquing people who sandwash Trump's demands, this isn't a serious demand. You don't have to be stupid in public. Yeah, so this is let's see here. Where do we go? The threat of Trump's tariffs. Yeah, the threat of Trump's tariffs pushed Canada's main stock exchange down on Tuesday, and Candice Lang, the head of Canadian Chamber of Commerce, warned that being America's nice neighbor won't get us anywhere in a sign of the potential shift in relationships between the longtime ally. To Trump, it's about winners and losers, with Canada on the losing end. Canada's signature approach needs to evolve. We must be prepared to take a couple of punches if we're going to stake out our position. It's time to trade sorry for sorry, not sorry. Uh, Trevor Toom, an economist who authorized a report on the consequences of U.S. tariffs in Canada's economy, warned a recession was likely if Trump followed through with the 25% tax. The Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who oversees Canada's largest provincial economy, called Trump's threat unfair and said it was insulting to compare Canada to Mexico when it comes to migration and potential drugs. Is like a family member stabbing you right in the heart. He also warned that if the president makes good on his promise, Canada might have little choice. We have to retaliate. So you're causing an issue with Canada, which you previously have not even brought up or made a big deal about, causing an issue with them. You already caused an issue before with them. You're causing an issue with Mexico, which you have the Mexican president Shinbom arguing back, with solid arguments to why the problem is there, and that this is not just a one-sided thing. This is both sides have been working on this, and they have created quite a comprehensive policy in Mexico as well to manage and handle a lot of this stuff. But to automatically just throw it down to tariffs, affecting the economy and everything over the immigration issue is just silly, because you're going to cause not only a problem with their governments or their economies, but our economies. I mean, this you're punishing everybody in this scenario. You're not just punishing Canada. You're not just punishing Mexico. You're punishing everybody here, even the U.S. The people of U.S. over the border that, yes, has issues, and we should, work on those issues. But throwing all this unnecessary hostilities between the countries is just not the way to take care of it. It's just ridiculous. Trump once again is just acting like a man child when it comes to this stuff, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what comes of it, basically. Which he did his entire first presidency as well. And it's just like it's just like he gets one thing in his head, and that's all he knows how to react with. That's like his throwing dart or something. That's it's the only thing he knows what to do or what to say. Like that's the first word that can pop in his head. Tariff, 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 tariff. Oh, you don't like that? Tariff. You don't like this? Tariff. You don't want that? Tariff. When it comes to another country, like that's the only argument he has for punishing them. That's like his personal sanction for other countries. Oh, you don't like me? You said something bad about me? Tariff. Whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. So yeah, we've created all this, and over a truth social, over a truth. Once again, here we are. We are back to the 4 years of a bunch of fucking truths in Twitter posts. And that's how he's going to manage policy. I don't. What have you done, America? What have you done? So yeah, that's what's going on with that. So yeah, and this has thrown a wrench in the stock markets too today. And I mean, this whole tariff threat is going. We've already had so many economists that have stated that it's going to ruin our economy. It's going to drive up inflation and create economic strife for all Americans. Okay. Welcome to Trump's America. That's all I'm saying. Tried to warn you. Tried to warn you. Anyways, let me know what you think about what's going on. Do you think he's actually going to go through with these tariffs? And if so, to what effect do you think it's going to create retaliation, going to affect, our trading policies and trading our prices and stuff on things? At the very least, I guess in the short term, whenever these do get implemented, the beginning of next year, maybe the whole first half of next year, I don't know, or more. Granted, we probably won't we'll feel it immediately because markets are going to immediately adjust before anything even happens, just so they can save themselves. So we'll actually probably feel it immediately, I would assume, because that's the way the markets always do. Companies always adjust themselves way early so that they can try to pocket themselves and prevent them going down. They'll pass it on to us though. So, anyways, let me know what you think about it. And until next time, peace, clear talk. I'm out.